Hello everyone, I'm going to talk to you about Beyblade in 6 minutes or less. I'll be mentioning what they are, and the history behind them, and how to play. Alright, let's go. First off, what is a Beyblade? To begin with, a Beyblade can either look like this, really pretty big and complicated, and even this. They can come in all shapes and sizes. And so, I'm assuming that most of my audience on here hasn't really heard much of what Beyblade is, or if they have, they might have heard it from an old friend or maybe an old experience, but didn't really get into detail about it. So, this is what this is for. Okay, so after that, how do you play the game? To play the game, what we do is that we have these things called launchers. They're these kind of little, they come up with these little small handles that you grip your hands on, and a little cord that you insert it into. And you take the Beyblade, attach it to the launcher, and you're supposed to pull as hard as you can at a very level angle, and you launch it into a stadium where 2 or more players, they do the same thing, and you have these Beyblades clash into each other, where depending on the complexity and the specific kind of pieces that you use, can help make your Beyblade more stronger, or like more faster, can spin longer, etc. It's really cool. And what else? Oh yes, and then the point system. To win the game, what you have to do is that there are 3 ways to, well, in some cases only 2, but sometimes 3. Okay, but anyways, to win a game, what you have to do is that you can gain 2 points by knocking the opponent's Beyblade out of the stadium or outside of the arena, or you can gain 1 point from your Beyblade spinning longer than the other opponent, or in the Burst Saga exclusively, whereas in the Burst series, these Beyblades, if you hit them hard enough, their pieces actually unlock, and they give the impression that they're bursting apart by going, and like the pieces basically just fall apart and scatter everywhere. So if you do that, you get 3 points. Okay, and then the history of Beyblade. Dating way back then, this series it began as a simple. Have you heard of seen those little dreidels, or those simple little wooden spinning tops that are kind of like cone shaped, but that don't really have much features to them? Well, I believe it started back 2,000 years ago, but it's just recently, around 20 years back, that it actually began as this modern product. Whereas it was first released in July 1999, and it was sold by Tomy, a Japanese company, followed up by Hasbro in 2002. And then after that, the anime series began to be aired on TV around the world in August 2008. And the series is called Beyblade Fusion, which takes the Beyblades and gives them these fantastical aspects. For example, one of them is said to have possessed these things called bit beasts, which are kind of these little mythical creatures that are kind of the souls of the Beyblade that come out and battle the other bit beasts in the fantastical battles. And there's also this lore where a giant meteor comes down from the sky, and the ancient people, they use this meteor to form it into the Beyblades of today. And apart from that, there's also these epic battles where different characters go into this little tournament where they compete with other bladers around the world. Oh, by the way, bladers is the term that the show calls people who use these Beyblades. And there's usually tournaments or some kind of giant monster that people try to take down with the Beyblades. It seems ridiculous on paper, but when you watch it, it's actually really entertaining and pretty exciting. And okay, and then lastly, there's the certain parts about Beyblades, the customization, where if you combine the different parts, if some of them, for example, one of the pieces is classified as a driver, This is an example of what a driver looks like. It's kind of like what allows the Beyblade to ride around in the stadium. For example, if you make it flatter, it will allow it to spin more faster around the stadium, but it will cause it to spin a lot. The spin time will be a lot more shorter. Or if it's more narrow and sharp, it will spin longer. However, it will be much more slower. If you kind of catch my drift, customizing Beyblades using these techniques in different pieces can help bring us in the strategy aspect, where the physics of the Beyblade, it can help determine a win or a loss in a competitive Beyblade battle. Which brings me to my last point, the World Beyblade Organization, which is an online organization / community where Bladers all around the world, it's an actual website where it's called worldbeyblade.org, where people sign up for this, and there's actually tournaments where people have to customize their Beyblades to their best ability, try to get the optimal features, and then use it to compete with other Bladers who do the same thing, and enter these tournaments where they try to become the champion. And that wraps up my speech, and okay, have a wonderful day.